Hello everyone. If we do not learn from history, we are doomed to repeat it. And so I have made this extreme Pwnage video to teach some people the history that they need to know so that their movement can flourish. Little backstory here. I was invited via Facebook to a local group event called Fracking Ground Zero Report. And this was by the local fractivists. These are activists who think that hydraulic fracturing destroys the planet, and there's a lot of evidence for that. But I noticed that some of the news that they had garnered of late had painted them in a bad light. In fact, made them literally look like a circus. So I wanted to help them, and what I know from the history of local protest movements in my city is that there are a group of what I call toxic protesters who like to join every movement that new people are going to come out to that don't know each other, and they try to take it over. And I experienced this firsthand with the Occupy movement when I was trying to document it for my YouTube channel. But now we see it happening with the fracking movement in my city because fracking has come to town. We are now in the midst of our city council trying to work with the oil and gas industry in order to come up with regulations for fracking. So, in order to help this movement, I decided that I would point out the reason why I and many other like-minded individuals who would otherwise come out to their protests are not attending. And that is because of the toxic protesters that we already know from years of experience. And I decided to put together a little bit of a rap sheet on the most toxic of all of them in particular, although the names of a couple of the other toxic protesters do come up in some of the arrest reports in these news articles. But I'm just going to go down this. Getting arrested last week for protesting Canadian laws in Colorado. In fact, having their stated solidarity being with some Native American chief in Canada who is on a hunger strike because of laws in Canada, but they decided to go protest in a mall in a suburb of Denver. The next link I'm giving is baiting police at a city council meeting last month, then baiting Walmart into calling the cops on them last October, then getting removed by police from a courtroom where it was previously stated that the subject that they were wearing on their t-shirts was actually, it had a gag order on it. And they knew this, and they almost caused the defendant a mistrial because they had to wear the word Occupy on a t-shirt in the courtroom. I'm not saying that I agree with the gag order, but getting arrested and making a show of it was the point. And this is the point in all of these. Getting arrested for photo ops for press. Next we have trying to get arrested in August by protesting the Democratic National Convention in Charlotte, North Carolina. Yes, these protesters traveled from my city to the DNC to protest it because those people at the DNC are not liberal enough for them. That's the kind of people that we're dealing with here. Next, we have an expose by my local news showing this toxic protester being exposed for having bomb-making instructions on his website. Next, we've got people being arrested associated with these toxic protesters for protesting for Middle East peace in 2011. Then we've got being arrested protesting the Democratic Party state convention here in Colorado Springs in 2008. We've got what we call in my city the St. Patty's Day 7 debacle in 2007. And if you don't know about that, basically, some local peace protesters, they got a space in the St. Patrick's Day parade, and there was about 40 of them, but when the police told them to disperse because they sprung the peace angle on this protest, and, you know, we're surrounded by 5 military installations, and you know, the organizers decided at the last minute, no, we can't have this is going to cause like a riot, you know. So the police tell them to disperse, and 7 of them did not. They continued on the parade path, whereas all the other ones, they decided to disperse. But those 7, those went along with the toxic protester that I'm pointing out, and they got arrested, and you know, they complained about bruises because they were tackled and being drugged through the street. And one of them being drugged through the street was a nun, and it made for great press. And the peace protesters are being attacked by the police. Do you see the pattern of police baiting? This is why I don't attend a lot of events, because I am tired of police baiting as a tactic. The police are not horrible meanies, okay? And the last thing I threw in there was a certain Twitter status that this particular toxic protester used, and this is for a current event that happened. He used the hashtag Pray for Newton thing on Twitter, so that everyone looking at that hashtag Pray for Newton and looking at prayers for the Sandy Hook massacre, they would see this. He says, 20 school children killed in Sandy Hook, Connecticut. Were they not Pakistani? Is that what everyone's upset about? And, yeah. Yes, James Pope, he's a douche. Anyways, I have screen capped the entire conversation that happened afterwards, which includes much more in-depth pwnage of these toxic protesters and a giant expose. And it also has a couple of these toxic protesters' compatriots right now, the ones that don't know, and they think that I'm attacking their movement, but really I'm doing this so that their movement can flourish, so that it can survive, because if they don't remove these people from their movement, it's going to die, just like it has every time in the past. You know, with peace protests, Middle East peace protests, with Occupy, and now they're going to kill the Idle No More movement, you know, alongside the fractivism movement. So yeah, links in the description box to all of this. It is quite an interesting read.